All right, well, it's 3:45, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our youth panel session. We really appreciate you being here today. My name is Aaliyah Garrett, and I'm the Sustainability Outreach Coordinator with the University of Florida's IFAS Extension Office in Sustainability here in Sarasota County. So prior to today's workshop, we gave kids the opportunity to participate in a youth video contest. So the participants were tasked with creating a short video explaining what sustainability means to them and then what they're doing to practice sustainability in their everyday lives. So there's going to be one winner per age group, which is less than 10, 10 to 14, and then 15 to 17. So thank you again so much for everybody who submitted a video. Choosing the winner was actually really hard because they were all so wonderful. So if everybody can please join me in congratulating Sydney Graham, who is our winner for the 15 to 17 age group, Cecilia for the 10 to 14 age group, and Sabina Parker for the less than 10 age group. So we're going to quickly play a video of each of the winners' submissions so you can have a chance to see their great work. And they should play shortly.
Hi, my name is Sabrina Copper. I'm 9 years old, and I'm talking to you today about sustainability. I practice sustainability by using ingredients from my homegrown organic garden for homemade recipes. I bike, scooter, and walk to places instead of using a car and causing pollution with gas. I pick up litter around my community and my beaches. I try my best to take shorter showers and conserve water. I write a magazine and donate 100% to local organizations that benefit people in my community. I try to learn every day about the different needs of the people in my community, as well as all of the different cultures. I help my grandparents with their small business, which depends on both tourists and the local economy. Sustainability is important to me because I want less pollution and more smiles. I feel like nobody listens to all the books and videos about not littering and using less water. It is important to me to start making a difference so our community continues to thrive. Thank you very much.
Hey you. Yes, you. Do you want to learn about sustainability? No. I'm not a salesman. I'm not here to sell you vacuums. And between you and me, the prices on those kind of suck. So, sustainability is being able to keep something at a certain level. And a sustainable community tends to focus on environmental, economic, and social sustainability. Sustainability is vital for creating and maintaining strong communities. And it's important for us to take care of our environment because without sustainability, we wouldn't have beauty like this. We can all help out in little ways, such as forming a community garden, planting trees, or starting a neighborhood compost bin. I myself try to take part by donating any unused items, not waste any food, and sometimes for a more eco-friendly transport, I just ride my bike. Well, I hope you learned something new. And do keep your environment clean so to contribute to sustainability. Nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
Sustainability is important to me so we can all maintain our quality of life as human beings, the diversity of life in our environment, plus preserve our world's ecosystems. We need to strive for sustainability in our own homes and our communities. We can work on sustainability every day. It doesn't need to be complicated. When my day begins, I make a conscious effort to be a role model of sustainability. Here are some examples of how I try to be sustainable and tips for you to live green as well. When I brush my teeth, I turn off the water when it isn't being used. This conserves the water supply in our home. During meals, try to eat less meat. Try eating something like apples, beans, or eggs instead. Throughout the day, make an effort to recycle. Try using refillable water bottles as much as you can instead of the small plastic ones. Before heading into a grocery store, use reusable bags. If possible, ride bikes or scooters places you need to go. When you can't ride bikes or scooters, use green cars. When you shower, try using a timer to limit the amount of water you use. Taking these simple steps is one of the most important ways you can influence others and create a more sustainable future for people in the future.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed the videos as much as I did. Congratulations and thank you again to everyone who submitted a video. And now your youth panel moderator, Elizabeth Moore.
Good afternoon. Well, those videos were just terrific. Congratulations to the winners. Well, last but definitely not least, the voice of the youth panel is always a popular aspect of this conference every year. And it's an important one because, especially on this topic of sustainability, as it is their future that's at stake. As Ty said earlier, they are the ones that inherit the earth. All today, the voice of the youth has been woven in through all the topics of all of the speakers. And the youth deserve a voice and in how we plan our future. Today, we have 3 panelists on the youth panel, and they were just got out of school not long ago. The first one is Antonia Ginsberg-Klemmt. She's a senior at New College in Physics and Environmental Studies, and she started Gizmo Power along with her dad, which is a solar on wheels carport with integrated vehicle charger. She will present first. And then following Antonia, we have 2 high school juniors from Sarasota, Mehak, Sandhu, and Anja Schwarzbauer, who co-lead Sarasota Students for Climate, and they are involved in petitions, strikes, and events. And so, Antonia, would you kindly start off your presentation? We're all ears.
I'd be happy to do so. Allow me to share my screen. So what I'm gonna do, give me a second. So I am the co-founder of Gizmo Power, which is basically as explained, is a solar carport. But to start off from the very beginning, there are always so many excuses of why people don't go solar. These are just a few of them. And so to begin with, basically want to start out by explaining that it is actually an acronym. So there's a reason for the name Gizmo Power. So it stands for Garage Interior Storable Modular Photovoltaic on Wheels with Integrated EV Charger Rack. So there's a method to the madness. There's a reason why we want you to go Gizmo. So Gizmo Power, it integrates a portable carport, photovoltaic solar system, and an electric vehicle charger into one plug-and-play style electricity generating appliance, which is also currently patent pending. It expands the classic methods of ground mount and rooftop solar systems to include driveways and parking areas without dedicated building permits. So it's structured with wheels, so the system can be fixed or folded down to fit into your standard size garage along with your vehicle to protect them from storms, hail, or hurricanes, etc. And so Gizmo Power, it solves 3 problems at once. It protects your vehicle from the sun and other elements, it charges your vehicle, and it feeds the grid or to your home and your battery, to your home battery. So it is also we consider modular and scalable. So a single starter system can incorporate 8 bifacial solar panels, or up to 24 for a full double system. So I'll get into later what bifacial is here. It explains here. So bifacial is the fact that it basically has cells on the underneath side and the top side. So it has also retractable wheels. So that way, in case you can roll it in and out, I'll be sharing a video with you later on how that works. And so it's definitely very powerful and innovative. But if you think about it, it's all of the technology currently exists. So it's incorporating existing technology into something new. And so basically you can hear the pros and cons of Gizmo Power compared to rooftop solar. Rooftop solar is great, but however, we're trying to basically make it so that solar is more accessible to the general public, because not everyone can afford to, or even has the infrastructure on their house to have rooftop solar. So you also say there's people who own or basically are renting homes, and that way, if you don't own your house, it might be a lot harder for you to go solar, to do rooftop. So I found this very interesting. Do you see this little square right there? That is how much space you need to power the entire United States. So if you were to fill that little square only with solar panels, we would be able to power the entire United States, 121,250 square miles of solar panels. Obviously, we don't want it concentrated, we want it distributed. Fun fact, the US has about, 3,790,000 square miles. So basically you only need 0.5% of the total land mass to power the entire nation with solar energy. So unfortunately, we have to also scale down to Florida's solar. And right now it's the solar systems remains well below 1% for the state of Florida, which is almost negligible. So, basically the Sunshine State, we need to kind of get our game together a little bit. A lot more because we are below the 1% threshold. So let's promote solar. So here's a little bit of a CAD drawing that I did for, I drew out the CAD drawings for the system. Hope you don't get too dizzy. That was basically me going through the logistics of it. I drew this all out on a CAD software that we then submitted to get it patent pending. And this is basically the entire system. And over the COVID summer, basically my dad taught me how to weld. He taught me how to TIG weld, and I needed to weld up onto a ladder to make sure that the aluminum weld puddles, you had to use gravity for them to puddle in. And this is with the complete system. It also comes with a online or an app that you can see exactly in real time how much the system is producing. Then also compare it to your power bill, how many equivalent trees were planted or how much CO2 is saved. And you can also see the individual panels and how much they're making one at a time, which I think is also very useful. So that way you can see, hold on, let me see if I can fast forward it to a certain point. But anyhow, I'm a huge, physics nerd and love math. So that way you can see exactly, basically what it does, it takes the integral, so the area underneath the curve of the entire time, so that we can see how much electricity your system is producing. And then it also proves a calculation of, since the system was created, equivalent of how many trees planted, so how much CO2 was saved from the system that we've created. And so here's what it looks like from the garage perspective. So these side panels would then, you can lower them and flap them down, and so then you can roll it into your garage. This is prototype 1, so we have several more prototypes coming out. So this is our first version. We want to later on make it more, maybe, I guess, visually appealing. Right now we're using all sorts of different pipes, so we're trying to also make it so that we don't have to use as many little connector pieces to really cut down the production cost. There's a couple things. Oh yes. So one thing you want to realize is that also some people have shingle roofs so that with shingle roofs, it's a lot more difficult to set up rooftop mounted solar. So that's another pro of why you would want to suggest Gizmo. So yeah, another reason for why solution is for people, Gizmo Power would be considered a solution for people who rent their homes but want to go solar now, who want flexibility to move to a different location in the near future. So say you're renting, you're not sure if you want to stay here forever. This way you can just pack up your Gizmo and you can bring it with you. If you live on a smaller parcel without enough surface area for ground-mounted solar panels, Gizmo would be ideal. Or if you are subjected to adverse or unhelpful rules of guidelines imposed by your condo or homeowners associations for rooftop, this would be sort of be a bypassing for that. Also, if you live in a hurricane zone or you want to protect your solar system inside the garage in case potential damage, or if you live in an earthquake-prone area, or if you prefer a solid but lightweight carport structure, or if you prefer an all-in-one plug-and-play solution over a very expensive major construction project. And here I can kind of go into in-depth into the price. You can also check out our website, gizmopower.com, to see more logistics of me breaking it down. Also, if you're interested, a 45-minute math seminar presentation about me talking about the physics and math of how all this is calculated. So yeah, you can actually see the comparison between the cost of a Gizmo Power versus a cost of what it would, for an average installation cost, if you'd say you took the average cost of a carport plus an EV charger. So you can see the difference between 33 grand and 18 grand for a 9-kilowatt system. It's a system that makes sense and is definitely very, very cost effective. And so we are very excited. We have a lot of interest and press announcements, and the project was a recipient of the Aussie Genius Award. We've been showcased on magazines and Innovation Showcase. So It's all very, very exciting. And here's our team. And so, if anyone obviously has any questions or wants anything to add, this is my mom. Oh, then I can also show in a little video that's the way you can see actually what it looks like when you go, what it looks like when we're rolling it in and out of the garage. So you can see the whole system. This is obviously a time lapse, so it doesn't take this fast, but it's actually pretty relatively quick. So that's the system where you put it down, and then we're bringing up the side panels, attaching them after they've been collapsed. And then as you walk through, you can also see that it actually looks like a stained glass canopy. You can see the second, here we go. Can I use the laser pointer? You can see the bifacial parts. So you can see the cells on the underside. This is where you plug it in. And then this is the app that you can basically see what's it being calculated. You can use it on your phone or your iPad. And here she is. I don't know how to get this thing away. And this is us rolling it onto our little trailer, which if you come tomorrow to Celery Fields, you'll see our Gizmo. We're going to be bringing Gizmo to Celery Fields. So you can see, look for a blueberry, look for a blue car. We've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. Yep, that is, does anyone have any questions?
Well, we're going to save the questions until the end, Antonia.
Got it.
I know. Everyone's like chafing at the bit to ask you some questions, but they will be able to ask you some in a few minutes. But what a family affair that is. You must have had a lot of fun. And I love the colored hair and the family sort of collegiality and getting this great product developed. At this time, I'd also like to invite Anja and Mehak to speak on their program, Sarasota, for Students for Climate.
Yeah, great. I'll just share my screen. So, okay, I think I remember how to. Yes. Well, hello. We're Sarasota Students for Climate, also known as SS4C. I'm Anja Schwarzbauer. I'm a junior at Sarasota High School. I use she, her pronouns. And at Sarasota, I'm in the ACE and MAS programs, as well as a bunch of extracurriculars there. And this is my co-lead.
My name's Mehak. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a junior at Booker High School. I've actually finished ACE. I'm now dual enrolled at SCF, and I also am in the VPA department.
Awesome. Okay. So where we began.
So we were founded by Elijah Merman, who is pictured here. They were inspired by Fridays for Future, and they decided to create an organization in Sarasota where we could fight for climate change.
Yeah, we really wanted a space to unite local activists, specifically Students for Change. That was Elijah's vision, and they brought that to life with this organization. Okay, so getting involved. Me personally, I've always been interested in climate activism. I think that's due in part to my parents' influence. But also when I was little, I really liked spending time outside. I really looked forward to the frost in the wintertime. And just over the past decade, it's completely changed. And I haven't even been alive for so long, and just to see the impact it's had on like the way I view my surroundings is crazy. I don't see the frost anymore. We have record highs that are glossed over in the news. And that really gave me an incentive to want to get involved. And that's how I found about SS4C. And I jumped right in.
So kind of similarly to Anja, I've been interested in like justice in general for all types of issues, but I really wasn't that I didn't like do much in the actual like fighting for anything. But when I was younger, we used to go on road trips to the Blue Ridge Mountains and like see all the like forests and things, the rivers and everything. And I used to love going there. And I would always like dream when I was older, when I could drive and like travel everywhere, I could go see all these other things that exist. But like, just like Anja said, even in this short period of time, so many things have gotten destroyed that I just feel not that hopeful, because I'm not even that old and so many things are getting destroyed that I was like, oh, I would love to go see those. But like, yeah. So it kind of gave me a little bit of anxiety. So I decided that I wanted to kind of take charge of my own future and like work towards a better climate for everybody. So that's kind of how I decided that I wanted to do this. And then I kind of found out about SS4C through school, and I joined like a year and a half ago, and I've been active in it ever since.
Awesome. Okay, so past work.
So before COVID, we used to hold lots of strikes because obviously it would be easier to plan because you wouldn't have to worry about COVID, obviously. So we used to have more frequent strikes, and we would gather up to like hundreds of people. So there was lots of support.
Yeah. Another thing that we've done in our past and still currently do is we work alongside Ready for 100, which is a branch of the Sierra Club. We've attended their meetings. We have a representative named Amanda who consistently attends meetings. We worked alongside them in pushing green energy in our local government. And yeah.
So we've also done art installations. We really like to incorporate creativity into like our projects. So a couple of things we've done is last year during the 2020 election, we created a voting installation to kind of encourage people to vote, to just like, it doesn't matter who you're voting for, just put your voice out there. And then another thing we did is collaborate with Our Climate to create a manatee mosaic in, I think at the Capitol building.
Tallahassee, yeah.
Yes. So we created that. So we had our own little party, and we made little square tiles. And then I think different places around in Florida, they all sent theirs in, and then we all collaborated to make that. And then the last thing we did, we do very often, is we hold poster parties to create signs for strikes. So, yeah.
We also attended the Power Shift Network conference. Before Mehak and I joined, we attended in April 2020. And then when Mehak and I were on the team, we both attended in April of 2021. It was a really neat experience. We got to learn the whole weekend about climate intersectionality from different perspectives and approaches, all the way from the Native American perspective on climate change and how it's impacted their culture over hundreds of years, to current solutions and proposals for new ways that we can implement green energy into our daily lives. And that was a really neat thing to experience.
So call campaigns. We did a campaign in 2021 to prevent the passing of the preemption bills. So,
cool. One more thing that we've done in our past is just COVID safe strikes. So after COVID hit, we still wanted to be actively striking and rallying. And it took a while to get back out there just because of all the precautions that we wanted to take. But starting in March of 2021, we started getting back out there. We usually strike near Marina Jack. And we've had RSVP required, mask required, socially distanced. And it's been really nice to have that and still get out there despite the implications of COVID-19. So recent efforts. Outside of our own strikes, SS4C has recently collaborated with the Green New Deal Network to promote the reconciliation bill. This was a really cool way to gather with a bunch of people besides the connections that SS4C has made just ourselves. And we all got to strike together. I spoke, that's a picture of me speaking there, at the rally that we had on October 30th. We stood outside of Vern Buchanan's office. Even if though Vern Buchanan wasn't in his office during those hours, we think it's a really great way just to raise awareness in our community. We got a couple honks, and just promoting and creating awareness of the fact that the reconciliation bill is passing through Congress and that it's really urgent that we take action for our climate and at least implement climate mitigation, which is what the bill is offering, and that it's really a good start.
So yeah, we've been having meetings as a part of our recent efforts. So we're in contact with Nikki Freed. She's the Florida Commissioner of Agriculture. And we're hoping to meet with her soon to discuss climate change and like what the government's point of view on that is.
Right. We've been working with her. Well, we've been emailing with her outreach person, and we're hoping to get an email back soon on when we can meet. We also recently did a climate panel in June with Fogartyville with Carol Lerner and Johannes Werner. On that panel, we offered a student perspective in the discussion of green energy and jobs, kind of similar to what we're doing here. So yeah. Future endeavors. So coming up, we have a panel on December 1st with the Department of Environmental Protection. It's called Responding to Rising Waters, and we were invited to speak on it. We don't know too much about the panel yet, but we're excited to be participating. We just sent in our bios a few days ago, so that's something we have coming up.
So also, we often do strikes. Right now, we don't have any strikes planned, but our strike directors are kind of formulating something for the future. Yes, and then we're also thinking of doing a collaboration for an art installation soon.
Yeah, and also if you want to hear or see more information about our organization, what we're doing, there's our website link. It's not a clickable link, obviously, because it's a PowerPoint, but you get the idea. It's pretty simple. It's srq4climate.org, the number 4, and that's how you can access that. And thank you for listening to us. If you're interested in signing up for our newsletter, we have a bi-weekly newsletter that's written by our Director of News and Media Relations, Laura. Then you can email sarasotastudents4climate@gmail.com with the title "Add Me" in the subject line and include your name and email in the body. If you get a response, that will be from our outreach coordinator, Anna. She's super cool. She just stepped up to the plate to join, so that's really awesome. And also, if you're a student, please mention so in your email so we can add you to the Student Volunteers newsletter as well. We also have an Instagram. It's at sarasotastudents4climate, just like in the email. And they're our social media director. Lily used to post, but Cynthia will be taking over for them. And we'll be posting graphics. We post a climate strike online every Friday, and just updates and opportunities that we have. So yeah, thank you. And I will stop sharing. I don't know if I can. Okay.
Okay, great. Well, listen, thank you, Anja and Mehak. Your presentations were fascinating, really got us thinking. It's so refreshing to see how youth is getting so active and problem solving. And it's just my congratulations to all of you. At this time, would anyone just log in any questions that they have for Antonia or Mehak and Anja?
So yeah, Marianne Bowie asked, did you know that anyone can nominate property for acquisition by Sarasota County that are environmentally sensitive or be good park spaces? So it might be a very special way that you could make a big difference, was a comment that Marianne did. I don't know if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, Antonia, I think there's a question for you.
It was also, is this connected to battery storage?
There it is. I think that's a good question. Can you address that one?
I sure can. So right now the system is net metered, so it is on the grid. So say your car finishes charging, then the system will directly start generating electricity feeding into the grid and then also decreasing your own power bill. However, if we do not have any external battery connected to the system, simply because right now batteries are very expensive, would make the system way more expensive. So we depend on the grid. We rely on FPL's amazing support with putting together this really functional grid. So, we're hoping that the more and more people that get Gizmo Powers or get grid tied systems would basically, any surplus energy we generate goes directly to our neighbors. So we have been net zero since 2018. And yes, this is currently not battery storage, but in the future, as more and more batteries become more efficient and more cost effective, then we can, of course, migrate towards battery powered systems.
Yeah, there's another question from David who asked, Green New Kids, what do you plan to study when you go forward? I presume that's directed to Anja and Mehak.
Well, I can open. Personally, I'm still not sure what I want to major in college. I am still a junior, so I still have time. But I am very interested in political science as well as sustainability. I also I'm in the math program at my school, so it's a science program. So I'm interested in environmental sciences, maybe even the law aspect of that, possibly even something just to do with mathematics and physics. Really, my interests greatly range, but I definitely want to pursue environmental activism even as I get older, regardless of what I major in or what I study specifically in college.
You should consider New College of Florida. I'm a physics and environmental studies degree, so highly recommend. Check it out.
Antonia, I think you're going to get hired, but maybe you want to stay entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Anja and Mehak, you are very active politically. I noticed on your website you have a petition to defund fossil fuel. Can you talk about that a little bit? And by the way, I signed it.
Oh, thank you. Mehak and I don't really handle our Instagram specifically. It's more our directors. But what we try to do through our Instagram is really promote those petitions. And Mehak, if you care to elaborate, go ahead. I know I answered the last one.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that like we kind of whatever petitions we get in our email, we try and like uplift them so they can get more attention. So it may not be ours, but we like to just find as much things to bring awareness to as possible and just put as many on the Instagram as possible so it can reach people.
Right. Because we have a pretty nice following on our Instagram, it's a really great way to raise awareness about small things. And our link tree is just a great way that we can post things on there and hopefully people will see them and sign them.
Terrific. Michelle has a question. Are there any examples of results you've seen with Sarasota Students for Change climate efforts besides awareness, which is already great? It would be cool to join with or promote to Sarasota College students too when it comes to campaigns, etc.
Yeah, well, right now we've preferred to keep our organization specifically high school student based, just because it is really important, we think, to unite high school students, and we are kind of our own population, and it's, you know, but yeah, I'm having like a mind block right now. I was going to say something else, and now I'm like, heck, do you have something to say?
I was gonna say, yeah, I think we just kind of space because I feel like a lot of the time, like high school students are like kind of pushed out of conversations when it comes to like climate change because you can't vote, so you don't really matter that much. But actually, like we just kind of have to make our own space. So I guess that's probably why we keep it just ourselves.
Yeah, sure. And as far as success goes, I mean, with call campaigns and petitions, etc., we have gotten hundreds of signatures from our followers and from our subscribers. So that's kind of a way that we promote change. And we've also, with pre-COVID strike specifically, had hundreds of attendees. And that was a really cool way that we were able to bring about change. Also, you know, through our involvement with Ready for 100 and the Sierra Club, et cetera, we've been able to work with the government and talk and learn more about the government perspective when it comes to climate action, which I think is a really big success just because it's a way that high school students can begin to understand it and put that into our perspective when it comes to voting once we get older and taking action then.
Okay, I think we have time for another question or two. Jack wants to know if you have doing any voter registration to encourage climate voters.
Sure. Well, we had Mehak, do you want to talk about the art installation that we had?
I mean, yes, we did do the art installation to kind of encourage it, but we haven't, like, it's just to, I don't know, bring awareness. We haven't really done anything. Wait, hold on. We haven't done anything with like voter registration. I don't think.
Right. We did post a few I believe like links for awareness and just ways to inform yourself for our younger like followers and listeners when it came time last year during the Biden-Trump election. This year we haven't had as much involvement in that just because we've had other endeavors. But we still deeply value it, and I'm re-registered to vote. I believe Mehak is as well. So yeah.
Okay, last question, because I know we have to wrap up, and this is a big existential question. So just address it the way you can. But if we all did all the right things, what would your future look like? What future do you envision? Just, I know it's a broad question, but.
Right. I feel like that's kind of difficult to answer just because I don't know. In the perfect world, we take climate action, and in a perfect world, we'd implement 100% green energy. I think what my ideal future would look like is a world with solar, primarily solar, especially in the Sunshine State where we're literally named after the amount of sunshine we get every year, even though it's rainy right now. But yeah, and a world where people are more open-minded and are definitely more accommodating to different cultures and how they're impacted by climate change and how our ignorance has really impacted them. I think that's something that should really be recognized, and that would really be amplified in my ideal world. Cultures would be celebrated in relevance to climate change.
Great, thank you.
I definitely agree. 100% renewable energy. The same things that you kind of said. I think that really summed it up actually pretty well.
She did, yeah, exactly.
If I may add in a couple things, definitely talk is, I hate to say, be a Debbie Downer, but definitely, talk is cheap now. Until doomsday we can say, yes, let's promote renewable energy. We need to, obviously right now, we need to make political change. There are limitations for some reason. Right now we need to make sure that we need to promote the fact that, not even promote the fact, everyone knows that fossil fuels are temporary. And so solar is our future, renewable energy is our future, and it makes no sense for us to wait later. This is something that can be done now. Gizmo Power is something that can be done now. Solar is something that can be done now. There's no reason to make it or like inhibit I guess anyone from wanting to go solar. And so I guess if we can work together and find people that are interested in, of course, making political change and definitely proving, the proof is right here. We can prove that it is fully possible. So just, definitely, the future is, I have faith that things will work out, but we really need to make sure that the politicians are fully aware of this. And, that's, it's unfortunate that, right now, not everyone is putting that as number one, but we're also from honor from Greta Thunberg. She is basically announcing that this is ridiculous. We need to always make sure that this is something that we're really focusing on all our efforts on, because time is limited, time is ticking.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, all three of you, very much. You brought so much insight into this youth perspective.